Hey everybody, welcome to yet another Star Trek podcast. I am your host. I'm Drew. I am joined by two very wonderful people. First of all, I'd like to bring in Sleepy Brad.
I feel like I'm gonna be sounding like Eeyore the entire day.
I can relate to that, man. I got like 4 hours of sleep, and somehow I think it's probably still more sleep than you got.
You know what? I did try to calculate how much sleep, but I couldn't get past number 3, so I don't really know. No. Seriously though, I'm extremely tired. If anybody ever is thinking about having a child, please feel free to message me, and I can tell you all the negative things about having a child. But I can equally also tell you some of the positives. But I don't really know if those positives will truly outweigh the negatives for you.
Probably not for about 18 years or so.
Nope. But you know who may be able to tell us a little bit more though about that is Majeed. Majeed has had a child for quite some time at this point.
Majeed,
It's only been 11 years. It's not that long.
can you do me a favor, Majeed?
No. Yes. Sorry.
Can you? I'm waiting for you to settle the microphone down.
Yeah. No.
You're like moving the microphone around, and I'm expecting all this noise to come from it. Majeed has a brand new microphone that he has not taken the time to set up prior to recording, and has no idea how to use.
I've been editing photos, Drew. And I don't know. I feel like I want to get the mic closer to my mouth. Ooh, does that sound weird?
It does not. This is how it starts, man. You get a microphone that comes with a stand that's about 2 inches tall. Next thing you know, you're buying a boom arm on Amazon for $150.
So I was thinking about doing that. Like ever since I moved into the house, I've been like, man, I really would like a boom arm because I'm tired of hunching over trying to like talk into this thing.
Yeah, it's not doing good things for your shoulders. I mean, your shoulders aren't great, but it's not doing good things for your shoulders as it is.
Yeah, I know. I need to go to the gym more like somebody else.
Just lift the baby.
Oh, I do that all the time, man. Like I lift her, put her over my head, throw her around.
Maybe we don't say that you throw the baby around. I mean there's
it's not like I dropped her. I mean, well, technically it's probably just once. That was only one time. But we have
a very avid listener. She happens to be a lawyer. We talked about pooping at the Mets stadium, and she told me all the things that all the laws that we violated. So I just want to make sure that if you're gonna say you throw your baby around, Brad, it's above board.
Well, okay, I'll correct that. I imaginarily throw my baby up above my head. In her mind, it's probably me throwing her around because she's so small. She doesn't really know anything.
So hold on. Let me get this straight. You imagine yourself throwing your child around. I feel like this
somehow that's worse.
I feel like this
somehow
is worse.
That's worse. That's somehow it's worse.
Well, no, you got to play catch with them sometime.
With the baby?
That's not how you play catch.
I mean, yeah, technically that's the not the correct verbiage, but it's throw them around, have fun, enjoy them.
Hey Drew, you might know this. Are we protected against his views? Like legally speaking, like if something were to happen with Brad, are we gonna get in trouble?
We'd have to ask our lawyer friend.
Right. I think I can probably find a way to incriminate the two of you with maybe some of our pre-conversation talk that we have.
You can't because A, those are not recorded, and B, if you go down, I am not going down with you.
Listen, I am not an expert in baby law, but I can tell you that I am an expert in bird law.
Nice.
And
4 minutes into recording, we have our first Always Sunny reference. Nice.
I aim to please. Gentlemen, how was your Christmas holiday?
My Christmas was very exhausting. Not because of the baby, but because my mother flew in from Connecticut, and like her flight kept on getting delayed, but thankfully she actually made it. We also had to wait for like an hour for our baggage to arrive on the carousel, but we got home finally at 3 a.m. just in time for me to take over watching the baby at night and not sleeping until 7.
Oof.
So
you had a great time, is what you're saying.
So I had a great nap that afternoon. I can tell you that much.
Nice. How about you, Majeed?
It was all right. I took some big swings in terms of the present for my wife. Well, not big swings. I took thoughtful swings and I missed.
Ooh.
You know, I didn't go the normal route this year, and the what I did get for her was just a couple things. But the one thing I got her was a headset for the TV. So when she's watching her Hallmark movies at night, she doesn't disturb me, and she could listen to the volume as loud as she wants to. Except this does not work with the TVs because once you plug the headphone jack in, it takes out all the other sound. Like you get no other sound. I ended up buying another TV to see if that was a problem. So, so if you're like Brad and Drew, like right now, if you're wondering what that big green box is behind me, that's the new TV I bought trying to fix this problem.
Hold on. So your headphones that you bought weren't working. So you bought an entirely new TV to fix it. I think this is some elaborate plot to buy a new TV.
Yeah, that's a giant leap to a different conclusion, man.
It was for the TV in my bedroom because she likes to watch Hallmark movies well into the night. She doesn't have the same sleep schedule I do. So while I'm in bed at maybe 10 o'clock,
So
I'm up at 6 to get to the gym. She's still watching movies until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
it
It gets loud.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many TVs do you have in your house?
I don't legally have to answer that question.
37. He's got 37 TVs.
So I would imagine more than one, right? So
There's one in
did
my
you-
office. There's one in my office. It's old. It's my very first big screen TV. It's my my Sony 1080p. I keep it because I love it. I have the one in my living room.
buddy, I didn't ask what models. I just asked how many.
Oh, I don't know why. Then is that a humble brag? Whatever.
You are totally humble, Brad.
Let's see. So setup, I have. Let's see, living room, kitchen, bedroom,
Jesus Christ, how
office.
many
4.
TVs? Like you have like
Four.
takes you this long to give me a 4?
I want to make sure I give you the accurate number, you loser.
So what I want to ask then is, did you, instead of immediately buying a new TV, did you at least check the other TVs to see if it did the same type of situation first?
They do.
course
They do
not.
because what happens is a lot of these TVs don't have composite out. They only have composite in, and they only have headphone jacks. With the headphone jacks, unfortunately, all the sound there's no sound.
That's
out
how
of the
headphone
TV
jacks work,
speakers.
though.
Yeah.
When
I didn't know that.
When I plug my headphones into any speaker in this house, it overrides the speaker.
Which kind of sucks to me. That's kind of garbage.
So wait, what
That's by design.
So you wanted to basically listen to audio in the headset as well as the speaker.
I
on the
want to
TV?
be able to control the sound through the speakers independently. So if she turns the headphones on, the headphones override the TV speakers, and she can listen to it on her headset.
while even if it's not, even while it's plugged in.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, it can, because with even my surround sound on the TV up front, it's not the headphone jack though; it's digital optical in.
But that's a different plug.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And the TV that I had in the bedroom originally doesn't have digital optical in. It only has it only had a headphone jack. Some of these have low energy Bluetooth, but that's for other problems. Listen,
So
I went down.
basically, your plan was to buy your wife a headset so you could buy a new TV.
When you say it that way, it's absolutely wrong.
But
It's not.
But
it's
what
not
if we
accurate.
say it
that's how
a
it,
different
that's how
way?
it ended up, though.
It's definitely how it ended up. And I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get the results that I'm looking for. I will get satisfaction,
well,
and I think it's gonna be with what, Drew?
just the way you said that was a little.
No, I'm gonna get satisfied by this. I'm sure it's gonna be with the digital optical port. I think that's gonna be the way that I go. Digital
You know
optical port to.
I
So-
think you are going to great lengths to try to solve a problem that she is going to completely ignore once you have it set up properly.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
know me. So Drew, you know me. You know this.
I want to take
How
a
many
moment.
times? Wait, hang on, Brad. I'm sorry, Brad. Drew, how many times have I come to you saying, "Man, I'm having this problem in Photoshop. I cannot figure this out," And
Well,
I
that's
spent
different.
3 hours trying to figure this out, and it was something
Well, that's
very
completely
simple.
different because with Photoshop, at least you're using this knowledge to make wonderful memes for our social media that all the listeners should be following. With this though, you're trying
Nice
to
plug.
please your thank you. With this situation, you're trying to address a problem that you believe that your wife is having, but in reality, it's a problem that you are having because your wife is enjoying her Hallmark movies at the volume she wants to enjoy them at. You need to find a solution to stop the sound, and by making her listen to these movies on headphones, I feel like ultimately it's just going to be setting yourself up for failure.
Do you
And getting in trouble, by the way. You're also going to be getting in trouble.
because I bought a new TV?
Yeah.
No, because you're asking your wife to use headphones to listen to Hallmark.
Fair.
I think that's where this is going.
No, listen, she loved it. She loves the idea. Or at least she says she loves the idea.
But by getting a new TV though, my field is like you're getting in trouble.
It's like swatting a fly with a
How much
bazooka.
did you spend on the new TV?
So before I answer the question, I will say that the money I spent on the TV is what I used. Or what I had saved up to buy a new lens for my camera. That's what happened. I had it set up
TV.
for. It was only 200 with tax,
Okay.
but
Oh, that's
again,
not so bad.
not too bad.
That's
yeah,
not so
yeah, it's not bad, but it's the money I had saved for God, my lens. I wanted to buy a new lens, so that was that money.
Well,
But,
I'd like to take a moment right now and thank our listeners for tuning in to Tech Talk with Brad, Drew, and Majeed. It has been a wonderful podcast with everybody.
Do you think anybody actually comes here for the Star Trek reviews?
They come here for the Sunny references.
I mean, well, hey, we're coming up with all these new podcasts all on the fly every single week.
That's right.
Every other week.
Every other week.
Well, every time we publish an episode.
Every other week. Hey,
Brad's
Brad,
baby.
what's your Twitter handle, buddy?
I don't even know if I have Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Mine is at yet another ST pod.
I will kick you through Atlanta.
I got that one. I know that much at least.
Gentlemen, I have a question for you. Would you like to play a game?
I think I'm gonna go with yes. Yes, please.
Is that a Saw reference?
He's not getting the reference. True.
No, it's the movie was made in 1980. He wouldn't understand it.
I don't watch movies in the 1980s unless was Ferris Bueller released in the 80s.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay, yeah, so Ferris Bueller counts.
Okay.
You watch Ghostbusters?
God, I love Ghostbusters.
Yep, that counts too. Back to the Future?
Oh God, yeah.
Star Wars?
70s, but yeah.
Well, the first one was.
the other one, the Return of the Jedi. Yeah, Return of
The
the
other one Star Wars.
The other ones,
Yeah.
right. Go buy yourself a Star Wars. That's the reference I get
So
when Drew says
Majeed,
that.
you lie. You do watch movies from the 80s. But anyways, Drew is talking about war games.
It's what
and-
Frank's told me. Frank's told me I don't watch movies in the 80s. He's a loser.
All right, guys, let's talk about A Taste of Armageddon.
Tasty.
The Enterprise approaches Eminar. I'm just going to say Eminar because there's a weird I in this one. The Enterprise approaches Eminar 7 to open up diplomatic relations. After repeated unanswered hails, they finally get a response, and it's a code 710, which basically translates to "Stay the hell away from us." Ambassador Robert Fox is on the bridge of the Enterprise with Captain Kirk and company, and he big dogs Kirk and overrides his desire to honor their request, ordering the Enterprise to proceed. Kirk orders yellow alert and proclaims, "We're going in, gentlemen. Peacefully, I hope. But peacefully or not, we're going in."
Also, yellow alert. Isn't that how he got in trouble the first time?
With the escape pod?
Yeah.
Plasma
Nobody was
pod?
in the pod this time, so when he accidentally ejected, it was fine.
So Ambassador Fox reminds Kirk his orders are to establish diplomatic relations at all costs. Kirk, Spock, Yeoman, Tamura, Redshirt Galloway, and Redshirt Osborne all beam down. They're met by a woman named Maya 3. I don't know why all these people have numbers on this planet.
So basically, it was just Spock and Kirk and 3 red shirts. Got it.
Yeah, but the Yeoman being a woman, she's not going to get phasered. So
she gets the pass. Okay, got it.
She gets the pass. Yeah, red shirts always die unless they're women.
Yeah, unless there's a uprising.
Red shirt uprising.
Yeah,
that'd be a cool video game.
I was just going to say those exact words, Brad. That sounds like a great video game.
What would it be about? It's like, what kind of game would it be? Like a real-time strategy, an action game, an RPG?
I think a real-time strategy would be great because then you could just build a base and just continually spawn red shirts. Kind of like Zerglings in StarCraft.
Ooh, nice.
So Maya 3 meets them at the Division of Control and tells Kirk that they are in grave danger. She brings Kirk and company to her leader, Anon 7, not to be confused with Anon from 4chan. He rejects diplomacy immediately because of the war with their neighboring planet Vendikar. And as they're discussing the situation, the city is hit by enemy fire, but there's no evidence of an attack whatsoever. No evidence of war, no damage, no radiation, nothing. Spock figures out that somehow they're in war games. Yes, the Matthew Broderick movie. Except the computers aren't playing with real nukes. Instead, they function on the honor system, and the planets are required to kill their casualties after the fact. The computer calculates the casualties after a quote-unquote attack, and then the appropriate number of victims have 24 hours to report to a disintegration station to die.
Let's just be true. Like, this is like a Futurama reference to the suicide booths. That's really what they are.
Oh man, everybody go to a suicide booth. It's like a cross between that and Zap Brannigan sending waves and waves of men to die.
Yep.
And also, I think Disintegration Station is a wonderful name for an album. The entire time I was writing up the synopsis, I kept thinking of The Cure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that would be a great band name, Disintegration Station. In any case, the rationale behind this whole thing is it preserves a culture and civilization, but still lets the generals and leaders of both cultures get their rocks off.
Get their rocks off?
I'm not going to explain that on the air.
I think we should just continue, Drew.
Anon 7 then tells Kirk that the Enterprise was quote-unquote destroyed by a tri-cobalt satellite the moment they entered orbit, and that he and the entire crew are to report to a disintegration station within 24 hours. Kirk and company are then locked up in a room. So, gentlemen, what is your thoughts on this story so far?
I think I said it last night, Drew. It's a lot. This episode was a lot of me being like, I guess that's how it's gonna go. I was like, why are there humans? I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about that. It was like, hey, these are just basically humans on a different planet, before the Federation really even existed. How is it even possible? But it's just a budgetary thing. The more I thought about it, because I think about Star Trek, TNG and all the other stuff. While they had a little bit better of a budget, all they did is they just slapped some sort of prosthetic between somebody's nose or on a forehead, and they called it a different species. And it was like, and I was thinking about that. I was like, I got to give this show some credit because they did have some pretty good special effects in this episode. Blowing up doors with fire and smoke and everything like that. That's where probably most of their budget went.
Boy, if you're disappointed by the way the civilization looks on this, man, you're going to be real sad when you meet the Klingons for the first time.
Oh no, I know. I it's funny. Like for half this episode, I kind of sat there in this haze where I'm like, I really feel like I've watched this episode before, and I don't know if it's because I did actually watch this episode before, or it's because Star Trek Timelines, that game we played before, all the characters showed up in there, and so basically I knew the references because of that game.
You know what? As an aside, that game actually kind of helped me, like, throughout this watching of the original series. There have been countless times where somebody has popped up that I had in that game, and I've been like, I know who you are. Exactly. Even though I like really don't know who they are. Like, I just know them from the game, right?
Because like Fox, the like the ambassador, like I had no idea who this, or I knew exactly who it was once I saw him, because I was like, oh crap, well, like. Actually, at first, when I first started watching, I was like, did I watch this episode before? Because like, I remember this guy specifically, but I was like, I'm thinking about it. I was like, I think it was because of the game.
Yeah.
I didn't get any of that from this episode, guys. I was just like, okay, this does not hold my interest. But there was a GIF. There was a part in the episode. It relates to a GIF that I've used on Twitter before, where they blow up a console and they're like, let's get drunk.
Hey, Majeed, you know what? What was that guy's name? N7? Anon 7?
Anon 7? Anon 7?
You know what that reminded me of? The We Are Legion, We Are Bob series, Annex 27. I don't know if you remember from the last book.
I only got, I think, once that series was over, I think I was, 3 books in, I was done.
Damn it. I'm the only person that did that 4th book. Well,
yeah, because it makes no sense.
Any listeners, you should totally listen to We Are Legion, We Are Bob series, because then somebody may actually get my reference to what I was thinking about.
You don't have to do that.
Please. We Are Legion, We Are Brad.
I don't want to be alone.
Ooh, that was so desperate.
I want to give you a hug, Brad. You need a hug. I could use a hug.
Thank you.
Honest.
Appreciate it.
So, Maya 3 is actually one of the casualties of the last attack, and she is due for death. But, despite that, she defends the system, believing that if people don't honor disintegration, then Vendikar will send real weapons with real impact, and then Eminar will be forced to retaliate, and then everybody would be killed, and then the civilization would die too, and then nothing would exist.
I want to jump in real quick. So, I found it hilarious that, so the way they're doing the games, or the simulations, is that it's not necessarily based on where your location in the city is. It's just they pick people, because during the last attack, she was with all of them. And like
I think the implication was that they the city that they were based in suffered the attack. That's the gist that I got.
Yeah, and so that doesn't necessarily mean the area that got destroyed, everybody dies. It's just basically people from that city are dead.
You say implication, and I immediately think Sunny.
Why do you think I said it?
No, Sunny. Oh, well, not okay. No, sorry.
But still, though, it makes sense. I understand their logic process, because if you think about it, if you just destroy like an entire area of the city, then that area of the city is entirely dead.
Right, and then those people would just not like people would not move back to it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. It's anyway.
Continue, Drew. You can continue.
So Anon 7 reaches out to the Enterprise and tries to trick them by using a voice modulator to fake Kirk's voice. He tries to lure the crew to the surface, but Scotty is smart and suspicious and analyzes the message, realizing it's a trick. Spock has his own tricks, and he uses his Vulcan mind powers to tell the guard to open up the door. He's overwhelmed by the prisoners, and they escape and destroy one of the disintegration stations.
I'm sorry, that was like the most hilarious part of the episode, where Spock is just like putting his hand against the wall and kind of like using the force to move the guard back over to open the door.
Did either of you guys ever watch Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law?
Yeah, I watched that.
Majeed, have you seen that?
You've told me about it, and it's the one show. Nope, it's one of the 2 shows that I haven't watched based on your recommendations.
I was going to say it's got to be one of the 14 shows that you haven't watched, but
I watched Sunny because of you.
Well, that's like one show, and now you're watching Star Trek because of me. So I guess there's that too. Anyway,
Yeah, it's not definitely not because of Brad.
There's a character in Harvey Birdman called Mentok the Mind Taker, and he's the judge, and he frequently does this thing where he raises both of his hands up, and you guys can see me on camera doing this, and he like waves one hand in a circle and the other hand in an opposite circle and takes their mind. And that's all I could think of when Spock was like trying to mind control this dude through the door. It's like Mentok the Mind Taker.
Yeah, that's I can totally see that.
Anyway, back on the Enterprise, Scotty was right. With the shields up, the Enterprise is able to withstand an actual attack from the surface. Scotty readies the photon torpedoes, but Fox takes command of the ship and halts Scotty's orders. And Fox insists on opening up dialogue with the planet. Meanwhile, Kirk realizes the only way he and the crew can survive is if they end the war. He tries to get Maya to help them and starts acquiring eminent security guard uniforms and weapons. He requires them by attacking the guards and stealing that stuff. Anyways, Fox makes contact with Anon and offers to beam down, but they will have to lower the shields to do so. Scotty is wise to this ploy from Anon and refuses to lower the shields. Fox absolutely loses his shit, threatens to court-martial Scotty, but Scotty holds firm and refuses the orders. So then Anon heads to his office for a drinky drink. Kirk confronts him from the shadows and convinces him to tell him where the communicators are. He takes Anon as a hostage, and as they start to leave his office, Kirk is assaulted because it's a trap. He's overpowered by a swarm of guards, and they take him. Fox beams down with his posse, and they're immediately escorted to a disintegration station. Like, imagine like showing up to a party, and you're like, "Hey guys, finally here." And like, "Good, we're gonna kill you now."
I mean, I wouldn't say that's how I would immediately go for a party. Probably more like, hey, you're going to get kicked out and arrested.
At least how every party Brad's been to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd rather go to a party, get kicked out and arrested than be like, hey, we're going to kill you now.
Yeah, I think I'd rather take the arrest as well.
Just fight him off.
Well, Kirk tried and it didn't work.
Yeah, he got dragged away.
Spock learns of their capture, and he just saunters up to one of the disintegration stations and then immediately destroys it. Fox sees this and has a change of heart, and he's willing to help them fight for their freedom suddenly. So Kirk is held in the council chamber, and he finds out that MNR is falling behind on their killing quota. Vendikar believes they are violating the treaty. Anon believes that Kirk and his crew don't report for disintegration. Vendikar will attack for realsies. So Anon contacts the Enterprise, and Kirk manages to order Scotty to implement General Order 24, destroy all life on the planet within 2 hours.
Am I the only one that was like, oh, this is General Order 66?
It definitely felt that way.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Drew gets that reference.
I've watched Star Wars.
Why are you yelling at me? It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Why are you saying stupid things?
That's fair. Because it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Brad's like, nobody's attacking me.
Brad, you get a demerit.
Wait, what?
Drew, come on. You can't give demerits. Brad, you have a demerit.
I hate you, Majeed.
Anon threatens the hostages' lives as they do not immediately report to the disintegration station, but Kirk says it doesn't matter, since in 2 hours the Enterprise is going to destroy the planet anyway. Meanwhile, Spock and company fight with security. Fox's aide takes a hit and is unable to continue further. So Fox just leaves him there to die.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, some ambassador he is. Anon pleads with Kirk, but Kirk is not interested. He loses control of the entire situation, and Kirk tells him he plans to save his crew by ending the war. They retrieve their phasers and communicators and destroy the computer responsible for the calculations. With the computers destroyed, the contact with Vendikar is severed, and now they must reach out or face real destruction. Anon suddenly remembers that they do have a communication link between the two worlds, but it hasn't been used for centuries. But if it works, it could save them all. Fox agrees to mediate between the two worlds, and Kirk leaves his ass on the planet to negotiate. Back on the Enterprise, everything is fine again. Uhura says the peace talks are looking hopeful. Kirk says that a real attack would not have killed as many as the computer simulation, but would have ended both planets' ability to make war permanently. He says it was a calculated risk, but he had a feeling they would not risk real war. Spock tells Kirk that a feeling isn't much to go on, but Kirk says sometimes it's all they can go on. And then Spock says Kirk almost makes him believe in luck. Why, Mr. Spock? You almost make me believe in miracles.
Ugh. Ugh, what a cheesy as hell. Oh my God.
I didn't write it.
I get it, but I mean, you expect them to like make out after a line like that.
Well, no, it was after that line. Didn't they have like the freeze laugh?
Sure, I'll go with that.
I mean, honestly, wow, I'm gobsmacked by the line. I guess I didn't hear it when I watched the episode.
That's a typical ending.
To sum up the episode, going back to where you were held prisoner is a great idea. Scotty is a badass and doesn't give a crap about Fox. And it's just like War Games, but without the nukes.
Oh man. So that episode was I'm trying to contain my frustration with that episode, but like General Order 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's be real. Like in current modern Star Trek, that would never exist. Not for like an away team of 5 being like held capture. There would not be any type of order to destroy the planet for 5 members of the Federation being captured. They would either just leave them there or try to figure out other ways to beam them aboard.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a
remnant of the past era Star Trek.
I think that's a good way to put it. I'd like to think that Starfleet has evolved with the times, both in universe and out of it, in real life. Kylo, what do you think?
Kylo just wants to see your pretty faces.
Aw, what a cute boy. Let's have a dog break, everybody.
Oh my God, this is the part where you just kind of put on happy music. And if we had videos, we just, have pictures of dogs scrolling across the screen.
Yeah. We had this is way off topic. At work, somebody put up one of like the YouTube videos of like the fireplace on one of the monitors and had it running.
Yule log?
Yeah, it was a Yule log, but it was like one from Hallmark, and they had dogs and cats playing on screen next to the fireplace, and it was adorable.
That's how I want to die.
In a fireplace?
with dogs and cats playing around.
Oh.
Exactly.
I mean, I could arrange the fireplace part, but not sure about the cats and dogs.
You should ask.
Whoa! Hold on a
friend.
second. It's easier for Majeed to arrange your death with a fireplace.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should ask your lawyer friend Majeed.
No, because it's.
I'm pretty sure that if I end up dead in a week or so, then you may be held accountable for something.
I'm not traveling to Atlanta to kill you, buddy. You better come to Connecticut.
If you want to die, you better come to us.
Right. Yeah.
Majeed, what did you think of this episode?
I did not like it. The first act was cool. I thought the first act was okay. The second and third act, it lost me.
So I couldn't even get in from the first because, like, to me, like the order of this is a planet that's restricted. Like in general, Starfleet would never do that. They wouldn't go to them. And if anything, if they were to do anything like that, I feel like that would have been a precursor to them even leaving to go to it. At least in the modern day Star Trek. I have rage if you haven't figured that out.
Yeah.
Rage.
Well,
clear rage.
You indicated that by the GIF that you used last night.
It's pronounced GIF.
GIF?
I'm not doing this with you. I'll just give you a demerit and move on.
I could just go for some peanut butter too.
Well, I like peanut butter and I like GIFs on the internet.
Are we? Wait. Oh, right, because we're sponsored by Jiffy. No?
Not Jiffy Lube, Jif peanut butter.
I wish we were sponsored by either.
I wish we had a sponsor.
Hey, Brad, can you sponsor us?
I have a baby. I can sponsor us with dirty diapers.
That's not how sponsorship works, buddy. That's just another demerit.
Well, that's what you get.
I don't like that. Okay.
But anyways, like this episode, it frustrated me in the general sense. There was a lot of, I mean, going back to the place that were captured, be like, this is the least likely place they're gonna look. I'm just like thinking, I'm like, really? That's your plan, or is it just because you couldn't afford more set decoration?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. Did you like the concept of the episode?
The concept was good. I was expecting another twist. I was expecting them to be like, at the end of the episode, be like the other civilization they're playing against is either dead already, and like they're not actually like playing against anybody, or the other civilization is just like, yeah, we're not killing anybody. Why would you kill anybody? I was expecting like some sort of twist in the end like that, but that never came, and so it was kind of let down that they just went with oh yeah, we destroyed their ship or the machines, and you know what? Everybody's gonna get along now.
Going from Space Seed to this, it's very jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I find myself waiting for something. What is it? World of Tomorrow? What is it called?
City on the Edge of Forever?
Yeah, I was close. Yeah, City on the Edge of Yesteryear.
Forever.
Forever. Yeah, I find myself waiting for these episodes.
We still have a few weeks for that.
But as we march on, we are closer to the season finale of season 1.
Yes.
We have 6 episodes left.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
If it wasn't for Strange New Worlds, we would be done with the series.
Well,
actually, that's not entirely true, because like we like crushed how many episodes back to back? It was like 10
for Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, it was 10 episodes, like one week after another. So maybe we would probably be almost done, I think, if we didn't do it.
And
yeah,
I love and hate that decision to go to Strange New Worlds, because it was such a palate cleanser, that show. But then just kind of going back to the original set design again, Drew, the kazoo from Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I love that. That makes me so happy. I think this episode was like one of those episodes where, the plot was just stretched a little too thin. They just tried to get a little too much out of the taffy. And I liked the idea. I liked the concept of these two, worlds at war, but not like actually firing physical weaponry at each other. They're using these computers to make these decisions, and I think the intentions were good. Let's try to preserve the culture while we hate each other at the same time. I would have liked to have gotten a little backstory about why they were at war, what happened to cause it, maybe something like a throwaway line along the way where it's just like, we've been at war for so long that we don't remember why we're at war, or whatever, something along those lines to make it seem like it would resonate more with the fact that they've been doing this for centuries.
I mean, to me, like there was so many things that were kind of just like very meh about the episode that didn't like. I felt like the writing was very poorly done. Like, what was it? May 3?
Yeah.
They capture her, and she does zero resistance to try to warn anybody that they're coming, or like anything to try to get away or stop them. It was more of like, okay, you captured me, I'm just gonna follow along with you.
Yeah, no, she was absolutely there to be eye candy and almost nothing else. She really didn't have a purpose. That character could have been anybody.
Yeah, and it's disappointing. Like I dislike. I dislike having characters in there for like 0 point to provide. I mean, I can understand it's maybe trying to provide the dedication portion, but unless you have like the substance to back it up to like, because remember when they captured her, there was like a guard that they were going after, and like if she was worried about like why didn't she scream like, they're coming at you, kind of like that, and you could be like, oh, she didn't want to get hurt. Well, dude, she's going into a disintegration chamber and to die in a moment,
right?
So clearly she doesn't care about dying because she's going to die in a second anyways.
Right. That's a very valid point. Did you guys have any...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask if you had any thoughts on the idea of the disintegration station itself.
So the disintegration station, it makes Spock, Spock did a good line in this episode. I can't remember entirely what it was, but it was something along the lines of like, I understand why you're doing it. I don't agree with it, but like I understand. And so like I understand why they did things like this integration chamber. I understood why they did the games. I actually like the concept of not the games, but the computer simulation of destroying like each other. That was pretty neat, but that was it. It was just that part was neat, and then kind of goes through the rest of the episode of being very meh.
So again, I did not love this episode. And I was totally paying attention to the episode. I had my phone down and everything until I didn't. Until I said, "Oh man, this is going nowhere." I appreciated more Scotty. That was nice.
Yeah, I think let's talk about Scotty real quick before we wrap things up. I think this is the most character development we've gotten out of Scotty thus far. Where we really get to see his personality and who he is, and having him in a leadership role where there were stakes, actually on the line.
Stakes.
But that was fun.
He really gave no shit.
Yeah.
Like he did not care, which, all right. So I think probably this is one of the best aspects of the episode is the development of Scotty. Cause he really was like, no, this is not how it's going down. I don't, I like the order, Kirk gave, that's not true. And he's badass in that sense.
Yeah. Like he was somebody that I would want to be like my captain in that moment. The way he acted, the way he stood up for the crew, the way he stood up against, Ambassador Fox. All of those things. I was just like, you know what? Hashtag he's my captain.
Yeah.
Like I want a show where Scotty is in command. Let's get that. I mean, Brad, you and I know that he does reach the rank of captain eventually. So,
ooh, spoiler alert.
Nah, not really.
Not really.
Yeah, for me.
Not really. No, they don't even have him in like an episode as captain. I don't think.
Like you'll never see him command a ship.
No,
it's fine. It's fine.
I feel like you keep saying it's fine, but it's really not fine.
It's fine.
All right, it's fine.
I mean, it's not like I told you he dies at some point.
I mean, technically
he does die at some point. Yes,
we all die at some point.
Oh, it's way too
Spoiler
early
alert.
for you to be that dark. All right, glib.
Gentlemen, let's give it a score. Majeed, you're up first.
5. I give it a 5.
I would love to get just a little bit more out of you.
He's like,
I was
anytime. Hold on. Anytime you watch an episode that you don't like, you completely shut down. Like, make something up.
All right, I was gonna go into more detail.
Please.
So 5.
So
the
first off, usually people give the explanation and then they go the number.
When you say
It's usually
people, do you mean you?
me and Drew.
Okay.
And every other podcast in existence.
All right.
Yeah, they usually give you like, hey, this is what it is, and they build up because they want to make the listeners guess. There's no guessing with you.
Majeed is taking the IGN Instagram approach, where the number is larger than the review.
Too much water. IGN 0 out of 10. So the episode, man, this again going from Space Seed, which was phenomenal. You know, just tension and a stupid fight scene, to an episode that was largely just uninteresting to me. It drew my interest for the first act, like I said, but just the rest of the episode, it could not hold my interest. It was very difficult for me. I found myself waiting for this episode to just end, and it did. It did. It just ends as every other episode does. But this one, it felt better because it was over. Does that make sense? Like I yearned for the episode at the end.
I can get that.
Okay. So with that, I give it a Drew's signaling for me to give a dramatic pause. Dramatic pause. I give this episode a 5.
I want to make note there is no signal.
That's not true. Drew is scratching his beard. That's a signal.
I always scratch my beard.
That's not true.
Look, I am trying to cultivate a epic beard, and by scratching it, it helps. Like, you know how you like when you talk to plants?
Were you almost going to say you were stroking it?
I almost did.
Okay. You should have. You should have just said you were stroking it.
I didn't want to open up that can of worms that is
already
open.
I could use that.
I know you could. That's why I didn't say it.
In order to cultivate a good beard, I got to stroke it slowly.
Yeah.
So this episode was something for me, man. I don't know. From the get-go of the episode, there was a lot of like, okay, I guess moments. Like that's how this is gonna go. The concept of having like the simulation and people like sacrificing themselves for it was interesting. That concept of the episode felt very TNG to me, Drew. But I think that was about it. Like every moment, like every decision, every line was just like, this is ridiculous. Like even Fox, like his demeanor of being like an ambassador, which like, I don't know, thinking about like future Star Trek episodes, and I think this is probably my problem, is like I'm comparing it to like future stuff. It feels so off, so wrong. So I like trying to like separate myself from like thinking about like the future stuff and you know, for what it is as an episode. Man, like I want to give this like such a low score, but I'm trying to like reel myself in because of the future stuff. So I think the things that frustrated me the most were just the dialogue was very, very inconsequential, and there was really no, like, there really wasn't any learning from the, you know, Kirk and them, because they did the at the end monologue of being like, oh, it's all jokey, when like think about like thousands of people have just died that day. Thousands of more possibly could die even more because of potential future implications, and I'm just like, this is so ridiculous. I can't believe this episode, and I can't get over that. I just can't get over that, even though I'm trying to separate from the future stuff. I'm gonna have to probably give this like episode a 2.
I thought you were gonna say 10. I don't know why I thought you were gonna say 10.
That is,
I wasn't going that direction, but it's
that is much lower.
Because
man.
I was looking at like my previous scores, and I was like looking at like what, like I kind of wanted to give this thing a 1 even, but I gave like Return of the Archons a 2, and I was like, similar, similar disposition in my mindset for it, and I was just like, I can't give this episode like a 1 because like I didn't like hate it, but I really did not enjoy it. Like I was so tuned out. Like I was trying my best to like not fall asleep. It just didn't hold my interest at all.
You rated the Archon so high because of the sex dungeon. You were like, oh my God, that's what I should do in my basement.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a demerit for that one.
Listen, we can pull the tapes, buddy.
No. I'm sorry, Majeed. You're wrong. I gave you a demerit. True. Your score, buddy.
You can't give me a demerit. You can't give demerits. Drew, what's your score,
Drew,
buddy?
you can actually just mute him in the episode editor, and like you can like just continue with him talking and ranting, and then when we're done talking, you can then like tune him back on at the end of his rant.
It's not a rant.
I have trouble focusing if he's talking over me, and I can't mute his mic in our video call.
There's also no mute button in this new microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, can't I just kick him out? I could probably kick him out.
You probably could, yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I don't either. Anyway, I don't disagree with the two at all. I agree with some of the complaints that you guys both have, and I think that the plot was a little bit thin, but I enjoyed this episode. I don't think it was nearly as bad as Return of the Archons, though. I mean, not even close. I think the plot was interesting and unique, and I think especially like looking at sci-fi to come, I think this is a classic story. I don't know that the execution was necessarily great, but I definitely like the story that they were trying to tell, that, you know, computers were controlling the outcome of a war, and that, you know, they were using this as a means to try to keep their civilization. So like there was at least some thought put into the rationale of just sending people to these disintegration stations. But there was no explanation for why the war even existed, no explanation for any type of contact, whether or not it's been made. So there's a lot of logic gaps in there, and the dialogue was not great. I mean, let's be completely honest, it was not great. I do agree that the ending scene with Kirk and Spock on the bridge of the Enterprise was a little cheesy, considering how serious war is, and, you know, how many lives have been lost over the centuries to this, what seems like a senseless war. But I enjoyed the episode overall. I thought it was pretty good. It was compelling. I would probably leave it on if it was on a rerun, but I don't know if I'd choose it, you know, as an episode to watch like I would something like Space Seed. Mm-hmm. So that's putting me at like a 6.5.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't see a 2 out of that for me.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as bad as Return of the Archons.
We all have our things that bug us.
No.
I think that was just one of mine.
Yeah, it happens.
I mean, there's no children in this to upset you, Drew, so that's probably why you gave it a much higher score.
Yo, screw those kids, man. Those kids? Ugh.
Bunk bunk.
No. No.
Bunk bunk.
Anyways, next week we are watching This Side of Paradise. The Enterprise crew finds happiness at a colony where alien spores provide total contentment. This one's going to get a 2.
What? What are we watching?
This Side of Paradise.
Absolutely.
Didn't we watch that episode already?
Oh, this episode. I don't know if it's going to get a 2, man.
I've never seen it before, but that description does not leave me hopeful.
That sounds like the
I've heard of it.
That sounds like the Fantasy Island episode. That when they're on shore leave. Shore leave, right? Shore leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So is this something similar, or?
It's what it seems like.
Ugh.
Yep.
I don't need.
You know it.
I don't need another 10-minute fist fight with.
Well, apparently the planet that they land on is Omicron Persei 8.
Nice.
I don't think Majeed gets it.
I get the reference. I just want to spoil the episode for myself.
On that note, anything else you guys want to say before we sign off for the evening? Morning? Day?
Morning.
Jeez, I'm so messed
Happy
up.
New Year's, everybody. Hope you had a good New Year's.
New Year's is like in 2 days for us at the time of this recording.
It's
tomorrow.
Shit. I have no concept of time anymore.
It's an overrated concept.
Oh my God.
It's just a man-made, construct. What is time anyway, Drew?
Time is the fire in which we burn.
All right, let's wrap it up now. That's glib.
The listeners will understand.
Bye, everybody.
Say goodbye, Majeed.
Good night. Good morning.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening to yet another Star Trek podcast. We are a part of the Retro Sessions Network. This episode was recorded on December 30th, 2022, and is hosted by Brad, Drew, and Majeed. This episode was edited by me, Drew. Majeed is taking care of our social media, and Brad has a baby. Special thanks to William Grobelar Music for our music Warp Speed, and to the Stars. You can find his work on SoundCloud. And special thanks to George Ratau for the additional artwork. He made us look like characters from Lower Decks. If you'd like that, you can hit him up on Fiverr, and we'll drop a link for both William and George in the show notes, so check those out. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to hit us up on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at yetanotherstpod, or you can shoot us an email at yetanotherstpod@gmail.com. We've also got a Discord room, so come by and say hello to that. There's a link for all this stuff, including our website, in the show notes. Next week, we'll be watching This Side of Paradise. It looks pretty bad. You can follow along with us on Paramount Plus or anywhere you get your Star Trek episodes. If you like what we do, we'd really appreciate it if you left a review in your podcast app of your choice. It could be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen, and give us a review. We'd appreciate that. A 5-star review goes a long way and helps the show out in ways that we can't even describe. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Have a safe and happy New Year.